All right, it's probably live. We're gonna open select board. Enough not fog my laptop and be able to keep reading and everybody can hear what I'm saying. This meeting is being recorded. As chair of the town of Enosburgh Select Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Addendum 6, Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92, the public body is authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with the temporary amendments to the open meeting law, I confirm that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by video with additional access offered through telephone. We are using Zoom video conferencing for this remote meeting. All members of the select board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, participate in this meeting by clicking the raise your hand option via video or *9 via phone. Once acknowledged, please clearly state your name and then proceed with your question or comment. And B, provide public notice and instructions for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public and necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using video or telephone or posted meeting agenda. Instructions have also been provided on the town website at www.enosburghvermont.org. C, if you're experiencing technical difficulty and not able to access this meeting with either video or telephone, please call 802-933-4421. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. Let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance of all select board members participating in this meeting. I'm Larry Jarvis, the chair.
Holly Rico.
Here, Letourneau.
Gary Wright.
Gary Wright is via Zoom. Okay, so we will start the meeting first by finding out if we need to add any changes to the agenda before we continue on. The agenda is the highway at 6 o'clock. We're going to be running a few minutes late on that. Ambulance at 6:30. We got an armory letter. Then we get to talk computer replacements. Computer replacements
For a couple of my office and a few here, they were scheduled for this year anyway. Polly and Dave talked about it, and he just wants to lend a hand should we need it with the criteria that because of the HIPAA that's up here, right? So he's willing to, like, whatever you guys pick out, review to tell you yay or nay, or this should have this or this should have that. But he's totally willing. Just didn't want it to fall to the wayside. Okay.
And just to pause for a moment, we just had our 5th select board member walk in and he can introduce himself. Dean Wright. Okay, so we have all 5 present, 4 here and 1 on Zoom.
I'd like to give you guys an update on the CUD.
Okay.
What's that?
I'd like to give you guys an update on the CUD. You can add it at the end.
In addition.
Second to add that.
I'll move.
I'll second.
So motion been made by Polly Rico and seconded by Pierre Letourneau to add CUD discussion on the agenda. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So if you didn't get it, there's an aye by Polly Rico, an aye by Dean Wright, an aye by Pierre Letourneau, and an aye by Terry Wright. And we have moved to add that discussion. So we'll jump right on. It's approximately 6:10, and we'll jump right on to the highway discussion, the agenda. And I'll have Joy Clark give the update.
I think what you've got in front of you is a maintenance agreement to be signed by the town for the agreement with the new bridge on Town Highway 4, East Bakersfield Road. And a copy of the plans here too, as well, for the review.
I just have a copy of the plan.
Larry has the agreement.
Okay,
It's like
It's pretty thick.
15-page contract, just like a normal, that would be your plans, yeah. I just kind of quickly went through it online there on the email. I didn't have a copy of it. I think it explains the financial part of it, but town share, I believe, would be 5%. Probably want to review a little bit first on it. And a copy of the plan as well.
Is there a deadline for this?
Not sure. I would assume sooner the better. That way they can keep the ball rolling.
I looked it over and I looked at the standard thing, it was the 5% for the town, state was 15 and then federal was the rest. But you can take it home and if they approve it tonight to your signature, then you can just drop it off at the office.
From what I see with the plans, they pretty much reflect what was talked about before. Which was being 24 feet wide inside the guardrail. 2 9-foot lanes with 3-foot shoulders. And it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, it's going to be longer than what the existing bridge is. So
right.
overall length, it says 90 feet, which I know at one point they were talking by the time they do some borings, they may discover that it's going to have to be longer than that. But I don't know if the borings are done and this is pretty much in stone or if that's still maybe going to, but either way, a little longer may add to the cost. But I mean, it's pretty much good. What's got to be done, it's got to be done. I think the existing structure that's there now is only 70 feet long, 70 or 74, something like that. Nothing you're planning on stretching it back into some more solid ledge than obviously what the one that sits on now. Can you hear me, Terry?
Oh, you're skipping in and out, Joey.
Okay. Did you hear anything that I said, or?
Not very much.
Okay. Yeah, we're just looking at the plans and there's a maintenance agreement to sign. Basically, Larry's looking at it right now, but I think it's, and I didn't get a chance to really take a close look at it. I think it's more than just a maintenance agreement. Isn't it like the contract between the town and the state, or is it just a maintenance agreement?
Finance and maintenance agreement.
I must clarify that we're up on the hook for 5%.
Yeah, I know
Right.
that. I see,
What
did
our
see that.
obligations are.
I see the 5% built in here, but I didn't see any.
It seemed to look like a standard state contract whenever we do a grant with them. It's like 15, 16 pages and there's a lot of the same.
I don't think we can put the actual cost in yet because it's still,
Right.
Unknown, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it's probably not the actual contract, it's probably like just saying that, yeah, that we're on the hook for 5%, like you said.
We have a 5%.
And here's
And
the
that we agree.
responsibility to take care of.
Right.
Yeah.
In the future, once it becomes constructed, and then it's the town's responsibility to, you're saying that you're gonna continue to keep it maintained over the next 75 years or whatever it lasts.
Yeah, because it's basically states here in this one, number 17 on page 6 of 15. Municipality will reimburse the state for 100% of all non-protesting project costs and for 5% of the total project costs. And it goes on to say, as well as changes during construction, increase or decrease quantities.
Right. Hi, Greg.
Yeah, there's no, it's just agreement. Maintenance and finances, percentages.
Yeah, but it looks at the plans, it's just a kind of a pretty common steel girder bridge with a concrete deck, 24 feet inside the guardrail, which is 10 feet wider than what the existing here now, so pretty cut and dry. There's no excavation to do in the brook because of where it is elevated up as high as it is and into ledge, so they can dig back longer and get into some solid ledge and drill a pin to that. Should go fairly smooth, I think. And was it Dean, did you say that they told you it possibly April?
Yeah, they were talking April 15th, start date, I think they were talking about.
Yeah.
Talked to them one day up there.
When did they say?
April 15th.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great.
That's if everything keeps moving in forward direction here,
Right.
fast pace. Which this is on their accelerated bridge program by leaving it closed and that keeps it in the program, which is supposed to move along quickly. And I think in that maintenance agreement, it also, I saw where it was gonna be the town's responsibility to mark and sign a detour, which we probably pretty much already have. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and it
We
says
may
that,
have to add some extra signage or whatever before winter or. But I think anybody that's affected by it knows about it, and knows where they gotta go to go around. I haven't heard any complaints on it.
yeah,
I've only had people call up and say what a wonderful thing they think it is if they're going to be able to have a new bridge.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, it looks good. Do you wanna look at it or you wanna look at it? Or do you want a motion?
So I'll move,
I've already looked at it.
You good? It looks good.
okay, so you need a motion on this?
Yes.
So I move that we accept the state proposal for Bridge 50. Located whereabouts is it?
These bridges.
Town Highway 46.
The top sentence.
All right, finance and maintenance agreement in between the state of Vermont Agency of Transportation and the town of Enosburgh for Enosburgh BO 1448, parentheses 42, contract number FM 0398. It's for, okay,
I'll second.
So a motion's been made by Pierre Letourneau, and seconded by Polly Rico to accept the finance and maintenance agreement for the bridge repair. Aforementioned contract numbers that here stated. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right.
Your Letourneau says aye.
All those opposed, say nay. So Pierre Letourneau was an aye, Paul Rico was an aye, Terry Wright was an aye, and Dean Wright was an aye. And motion has passed, so we have accepted the finance and maintenance agreement for this bridge. So I just need to sign.
Page 10, I think it is.
It just once in here.
I believe so. Like I said, I didn't look at it real full.
Yeah.
I have to look at it closely. There's one page, I think page 9 is for the Amazon. And there's the certificate of insurance.
Yeah, I have that right.
Is that in that? There's one in there with like highlighted stuff drawn, like at the end of that.
Right.
Is that something you sent them or?
I sent it to Rob and I said, here, this is what I have. I don't have maintenance agreement yet. And then he goes, you will have it the next day or so. And then he sent it.
So he sent that copy
Right.
to you? Is that what they were looking for? Is that what
Yeah, that's exactly it. They had to meet certain criteria of how many millions they want to
Right.
cover.
I know that sometimes they look for certain wordage on
Mhm.
on that agreement.
Yeah, it has to have this, their name and address the correct way. What it's the right way.
But maybe we should send them that copy.
Oh,
along
yeah,
with-
I sent it in case somebody else saw it. And it's okay, we don't have this, so you never know who's gonna get that particular email, so we want to make sure it's complete.
Say the third, right?
You guys heard any more on the railroads? Any more questions there?
No, I think they thought they were gonna be ready to sit down with you guys and hash it out.
You want us for the rest of the hour? That's good enough.
Hope they move right along.
The bridge, I didn't know they had to have that.
When did that bridge go in originally?
Yeah, that must be the one you
Yeah.
sent in. Originally?
Yeah.
I think 75, they have said.
It says 75 in the thing.
So I know we had a question about Max Clark Lane.
Yeah.
You got that all taken care of with them or?
Left the messages and I haven't heard any more, so I'm assuming it is.
Okay.
How they got that down there.
I mean, I could have answered that, but I said, oh, you never know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what he asked for,
Be glad to trade with them.
Page
Probably
10.
better if you did.
signature page and VLCT certificate of coverage.
Last thing, you know. Yeah. Page 10 of the agreement. Yeah, sure. Well, that's good. Hopefully things can keep moving forward through the winter.
Yeah, sounds promising.
They're very pleased with how things have been rolling through Enosburgh. They're like, this is a good example of how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Hopefully tomorrow's storm doesn't relay some of that.
Yeah.
Like bottom of the state may get hit hard or something. some of the
Talk
money's
about
in.
it.
Be isolated more than you already are.
But it may not be us that, you know, if the bottom of the state gets hit hard,
Yeah,
our monies
true.
are gonna get
Yeah.
relocated.
And then this salt and sand shed, which isn't on the agenda, I don't believe doesn't have to be looked at tonight, but that'll be,
I didn't know.
hopefully everything can move forward. Never go out to bid this winter too early.
Yep, Bethany should be here next month, is that what you said, to talk about it?
That's what her email said today, that they're not finished reviewing whatever it is they had to review with the state, and she's expecting it sometime in August, but she said September, either September meeting would work.
What is the most current plan, I think everybody has in front of them. We got any issues, bring it up for the next meeting.
Okay.
Billy Joe, I would take a copy of that signed maintenance agreement.
Sure. I'll scan it over to you, is that good enough, or do you want the hard copy?
No, you can scan it over.
When I'll scan them a copy, I'll scan you, I'll CC you.
Right, you're on the hook for it, right? Know what I'm supposed to do. What else was on the highway portion?
No, I just had highway and bridge projects, salt shed review is gonna be next month. And we had talked last month there, last month ago. You talked about that guy possibly giving some pavement numbers to you there, and I don't think that has happened.
He has now, I've got some
Oh, you-
numbers here.
You do have,
Yeah. It's gonna require some other work for us to do as well, like, so there's some pavement here in the front of the building, which we don't really have a whole time now. We're trying to get that flood work done from last fall.
so they're proposing to do it right off.
Yeah, the price they gave is for the 2020 season. I don't know, come the end of the year, if they would say, yeah, we'll do it next year with the same price.
Right.
Probably gonna be dependent upon the economy and what they see in the future. If they're not any busier than next summer than they were this summer, they may. But who knows? Things straighten out and things get busy, they probably wouldn't even be interested in doing a parking area.
Right.
Because it sounded to me like he said, I don't want to use the word desperate because we're not desperate for work, but you know, they've got plenty of room.
Time slots, yeah.
When they did our paving, they didn't even work Saturdays, and that's uncommon for them to not be
Right.
working Saturdays. They usually are 6 days a week, or 10, 12 hours or more a day.
So what do you got there? Is it just the parking lot or the other stuff?
Yeah, I can do it to you. The email that he sent and the price, $87.40 a ton. You can read the email and tells.
What was,
87?
yeah, what was it last year?
I don't know, so we didn't get a price from anybody last year. I did a rough estimate for you guys, like if we were to strip this whole place out.
Right.
And I based that price at $100 a ton, I believe,
Oh,
when I
okay.
done it. Because I didn't know. I
Right.
don't.
Right. And then what did we get per ton for the Duffy Hill project?
67
Right, because there was so much more.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Because of the volume.
Yeah, right, that's.
The volume and so you get, they're getting paid by the ton, so the more tons they lay down in the day's time, the more money they make. So
Right.
they could do a road job where they can just put a truck and just keep going
Just
down
go,
one side of the
opposed to
road.
like,
Or this year, there's a lot of, back in the
yeah.
jerking around
No, I
corners and handwork, so it costs more money. So stuff like this could, that's probably is
Pretty good.
even in $87 a ton, it could probably be close to twice that.
Mhm.
A guy just got a price to pave his driveway and it figured out about $120 a ton.
Well,
Not from pipes, but from a local
yeah.
contractor. But that was his proposal there, is to remove the pavement from the doors in the building, and I don't know exactly how far out. We'd have to figure that out, I guess.
The rip it radio.
Take it right out, because you'd have to, you can't just keep stacking it up, because you got the elevation of the building underneath all the way around, so.
Terry, can you hear us?
Again,
Has this yard of the EMS place only been paved originally that one time, or has there ever been any other work?
the only time I know of.
20 years.
Yeah. And so what he was proposing is to overlay the driveway portion, and then when we get up in front of the buildings, remove it, and then do like a 2.5 inch base and an 1.5 inch top like we do on a road project.
It's definitely something we can look at, and like you said, you can't do it right now anyhow, and
No, I don't see us having a chance to do it. We got that flood work to get done, and we don't. Got till the middle of July next year to get it done, though. We don't even get a chance to start doing that kind of work until almost the first part of July, by the time it's springtime, mud season. They get the roads graded and chlorided, and then end of June, first part of July, you get to chance to start digging ditches and changing culverts. And that's basically what we got left to do. We're in the Woodard neighborhood right now. We had 3 sites in the Woodard neighborhood, and we're on the last site there. So this week we'll finish that road up, and then we got a couple culverts in our travels to change. Just regular work, not FEMA work. And then, we gotta stretch on the Nichols Road, the ditch, some up on the Enosburgh Mountain, some up on the Ridge Road, and then St. Pierre Road. Culverts and ditches, mainly, that's what it is now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got plenty to do between now and snowfall. Besides hauling sand and grading roads and all the other normal stuff. So I don't know if you just want this for something to think about and see.
That's, yeah, definitely, I mean, we can ask around too, and compare, and, I mean, this is gonna have to be done sooner than later, because it's not gonna get any better.
Now there's some chunks of blacktop on the plow starting to come up. We'll probably see some at the end of the driveway here, and especially out here on the inlet side. But
So would you need to dig up all of it? But could you like do the 2 parking lots? Just, I mean, I don't know anything about grade or stuff like that. Could you do like, the parking lots and not in front of the building, like if it came down to time and money, like, not really money, but time wise, and save the other more difficult part for a different time?
I guess I'd go after it all at one time, get it one piece, no seams. To me, the best thing to do is to take it all up and start over.
Regrade it and then.
So this,
Not just resurface the
this
driveway.
estimate is basically from the highway in.
Yeah.
Around both sides.
It would be to resurface the driveway portion to up in front of the building, and then I don't know, like if, how much of that he had figured on removing in front of the building, because then it comes from like 1.5 inches overlay to like 4 inches of pavement, so that makes a difference in the cost. I mean, the more we rip up, the more tonnage is gonna take.
Right.
But I know in his email here, he said that that was an overlay on the driveway portion, and then he had it figured out to remove in front of the buildings. And then put back a 2.5 inch base and then 1.5 inch top. So I think that's one option, one way of doing it, one option of doing it, but it's probably the not so good of way of doing it. I think removing it all, it's all cracked, it's all. You'd have a better job, I think, if you.
Just like to know if we are ever gonna change the parking area to the rec field, because then you got even a bigger space. And how is that gonna work into, is that gonna be a separate project in itself, or?
Where's that gonna be?
That's, yeah, but that's a separate project.
Yeah, and I feel like you'd have to repave this anyway.
And
Yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah.
the timing, if it was together, then
Well,
you're gonna
and
get
and my wheels are turning because I know the school needs their parking lots. One in particular behind the elementary school needs some significant work, and we got bids, but then, or not bids, we were just reaching out to find out what that would cost. And then COVID happened, so we haven't talked about it, but I wonder if there's some places, but I, like you said, if they can jump on it, we should maybe just jump on it.
well, we do know this is probably the lowest price pavement it will ever be.
And you're thinking of it this year, right?
That price is for
For
this.
this year, right?
2026.
Yeah.
Having the time to, to do it.
Have some volunteers come in.
Yeah. That's the prices for the 2020 season.
Right, okay. And like you said, if they have the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a couple weeks ago too. and
Right.
Things could have changed. They could be getting busier now and they don't
Right.
wouldn't even be interested in it. I don't think I'd cut corners and do it half-assed just to do it this year.
Do you think that, remember the septic problems we've had, is that something, do you think that should be looked at and maybe examined while the stuff is ripped up? That's the time.
If there's something to do, I'd be the time to do it. But I'm not so sure there is. I thought that was all.
It's been fine, I'm just saying.
Right.
We've had
Right,
issues.
no, yeah, I know. Well, chances are if you repave the area, that's when it'll flare up again. It's almost guaranteed. Too bad to fix something if it doesn't need to be fixed either. So So that's what I got for information, and I guess you can think about it and see how
Yeah.
time goes, but summer's running short here, so
Right.
days are getting shorter.
Mhm.
How late would they, how late can they pave and still have it be effective?
You can go until December. It's just the biggest thing is that typically the plant over here in Swan shuts down and then they pull everything out of Burlington,
Which costs.
which costs one.
Yeah, I think it's around 15th October. Somewhere there's a
Yep.
cost change.
Putting the base down on the dirt, if you're ripping all up, won't be so big of a deal, but when they do the top layer, you won't want that to be done much later in September.
And that could be another thing too, and that is that by going through, if we rip this all up, put the base in this year, and then come back in the spring and top coat it. Yeah, that's another option.
So we did nothing else until.
Yep. All we gotta do is just put an apron on the ambulance and fire departments. But
Does the top coat stick as good when you do that?
it does,
Yeah.
they use an emulsifier anyway, so it's still gonna stick, it's just that this way it just lets everything settle.
You're probably better off to do it all at one time if you can, but that is an option, is to put the base down, 2.5 inch base. All the way around.
I guess what I'm reading out of this is Joey's running short of time, and unless that changes, we're probably gonna wait till next year, right?
That's,
That's what I would say.
If it-
yeah, it's gonna cost us more with him trying to get his work done. Probably have to go overtime hours in. You have a project that
Or
you
you
might
might,
skip a few corners and not do the right thing. And
or if you contracted somebody to come in here and tear the pavement and prep it, and have them come in and pave. I mean,
we can look at it in a month too, and everybody hasn't had their projects all lined up yet. But, you know, we're looking at their estimates basically just under 70,000. We probably go up 10% next year. This is,
Sure.
who knows?
Joey,
Yeah.
yeah, your plan
Yeah.
sounds like the best one that I've heard of. You know, I like to do it all the same time and you'd have a lot better job and that's my feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds like the way to go.
but then trying to hurry up and try to get it half done or whatever, I think you'd have a better job to prep it, base it, top it, have it
Right.
done.
Right.
So let's go with that.
Okay,
All right.
you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. Just, oh, well, not really, just another reminder about the bridge down here for the falls. I think you talked about it last meeting, didn't you?
Yeah, we don't have any update.
I don't know where it's left. I mean, the last I knew, Vaughn had sent Jesse Bugby some information. But then after that, we got that letter from Gary Denton.
Right, and then nothing. Okay,
So that was, to me, a little confusing because I thought the ball was in their court, but we got that letter. So it's like you're looking for a response from us. I don't think you guys have given them that. have you?
no,
No. No, we haven't.
I don't know if you should, or
hmm,
that's another ball that needs to keep moving forward because that bridge needs some work.
no, exactly.
Joey knows the most about it, maybe we should give him permission to talk about it. To keep the ball rolling so we can get it.
I've been to see Vaughn there, and
Yeah,
he's got the file that I had with all the information, still, I believe, hopefully still good.
yeah,
There's a lot of answers in there that, and for that information there and what he had looked up through the state statute, so that recodification in 1986, he sent this information to Jesse.
and then we
And
have,
I
we don't
don't
know.
believe unless you guys have gotten something from
We
him,
haven't, we
anybody.
haven't.
I don't know if you want to swing by and just see if you can send an email to them, go,
To Vaughn.
unless he's got something
Vaughn.
back. And try to refresh the email, read what's going on.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to, I don't know.
I know,
It's
that's what I'm wondering.
too late for us to send a response to that letter.
So I'm also wondering if we should reach out to the village and see if they've heard anything from their.
Right.
Okay. Because that's what it sounded like, she sent it.
So you
Now we're
have to-
waiting.
I think at some point in time, we both are gonna have to get in a meeting
No, I think you're right.
and say, this is what we gotta do, or,
Mhm.
and if it does come down to it being the village's bridge, somebody needs to send notification to the state that, like we did at one time,
Right,
we did that once, when we thought we owned it, but maybe we don't.
right.
We sent notification to the state saying, okay, we're accepting ownership of this bridge, blah, 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 and correspondence related to the bridge come to us now. And if that's the case, that needs to all happen.
So do you mind reaching out to Vaughn and just find out if that's in fact where we should go next is to the village and see?
Yep, I can do that.
And just see if that's who, which bee's nest do we need to hit?
And see, maybe he's heard something back, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody would have forwarded it. I don't want to you guys if we had it.
Yeah,
We can try to find out, see if we can keep it moving.
exactly.
It does need some work. Those joints need some work.
Especially coming into town on that, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the village has done some work.
They
to
have.
it.
They've been
They've
good.
patched it up, but it needs something more permanent. I think till it gets settled as to who's responsible to do it.
Yeah, so somebody needs to yeah. Poke the
Yeah, we
fire.
may have to, one or two of us may have to go to a trustee meeting and discuss the options if you want to have any. Because the other option is just do like we used to do, put all the bridges in the general fund.
Yeah.
And it'd be no question at all. Every taxpayer would be responsible for every bridge.
That might take a little more work because probably both
It's about a 2-year process because you have to vote on it next spring and then
Right.
have to be worded would have to be changed.
Would the charters have to be worded in there,
I think so.
changing?
Yeah, both charters would have to change because the way the village is worded, if we did such a thing, then you're gonna revert to a certain way of taxing. So, both, and ours says a specific thing about the highway district, both charter could.
Yeah, so it sounds like the first step in order to get some work done on that bridge and who's gonna pay for it, and figure out who owns it. And then we can go from there, I guess.
Figure it out or accept it when they
Right.
Except in these.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Joey.
Yep. Yep.
I'm happy with masks and the posters on the business.
Okay. Did you have some, see the, report?
Oh, I did. And if the doors locked.
I don't know if anybody's, did you get the email about,
That's due today.
from Vermont Lakes and Cities and Towns? They're having a meeting with Peter Welch regarding municipalities and the impact that COVID's gonna have financially. Even, I'm gonna forward this to you. Because it's Thursday at 11. It's a Zoom meeting. And I'm camping, starting Wednesday. But basically, it's to talk about financially, because you know how, for instance, like the CARES fund, Vermont CARES, it's education's received money, businesses have received money, and now the big question is, should municipalities be receiving money? And so my thought was, so you know how the municipality by statute has to give the school the money even if we don't raise it, right? So which would leave municipalities to take out lines of credit in order to cover their own expenses, which then leaves the taxpayer on the hook to make that up, right? So I think it looks like it says, Congressman Stroll will provide an update on the latest round of federal negotiations. He'll then open up the discussion to municipal leaders about how the pandemic has affected municipal revenues, costs, and planning, bond vote, staffing, all of that. And so I almost think that this should be attended. And like I said, I'm going to be out of town.
I can do it. Unless you want to select.
Well, it says mayor's select board chairs is what it says, municipal managers and town administrators. I mean, I'm sure Billy Joe can do that, but I didn't know.
All right, yeah, just forward it to all of us. And
Yeah.
if they don't accept us, they kick us out, right? It's all Zoom, you said?
It's on Zoom, yeah, at 11 o'clock on Thursday.
Email today, kind of along that lines, but it's about hazard pay, so I guess I need to look into that for the ambulance workers, and that opens up tomorrow. Not everybody qualifies, not every service qualifies, or every person qualifies, it depends on quite a few different things for criteria, but I will fill out the paperwork and get it submitted to see if I get any reimbursement.
Okay.
Okay. So next on the agenda is ambulance and all the discussions that's going on with that and monitors.
Oh, okay.
So, come on in, Scott.
Oh, Billy Joe, did you ever contact Dave and let him know that we signed a contract?
Yes.
Okay,
I
thank
sent
you.
you. Yes. When I talked to him today, he said, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, I should have messaged him, but I did not.
He was in Florida.
Well, that's what I thought, and I wasn't sure when he was coming back.
Yeah, setting up some big store there or some such thing.
So what did
Okay.
we find out?
We got Zoll. This is still a lease with buyout. It's not just a straight buyout price. All right, so this one's $66,336. And they have a small itemized list of stuff included in that price.
That include all the stuff you need to function.
Yes.
Yeah. That's for two, Larry, or one? Two?
So 66 for two, and that's to purchase, correct, or lease?
To purchase.
To purchase. And is that with them buying our monitors?
That is not included in this quote. This was
It's not,
the
okay.
original quotation, so which broke everything down. So yeah, I know it took off, we say 4,000, so
Okay.
62,000.
Yeah, okay.
But is that with all the equipment that needs?
Yep, the list that's broken down that on the original quote has all the breakdown of all of the equipment that the Stryker rep also broke down on hers as well too. So
All right, so Zoll's basically 66,336
And then the rest,
and minus,
the 4,000 for the trade-in.
4,000 each or?
4,000 total?
I think it was 4,000, it was 2,000 each.
yeah,
I thought it was 4,000.
the other one was, I believe, the striker one.
Okay.
So the striker one has $8,000 credit deducted from it.
That's right. They were giving 4,000 for
Yeah.
each one.
And they've basically got a lot more things that they're adding in. I don't know if you need all of those.
Yeah, it's all the same equipment. They included the adult and pediatric on some of this, whereas Zoll just included the adult. We don't use a lot of the pediatric.
How much is Striker?
Striker's bottom line is 81,973.
So minus 8.
Oh, that's in, yeah.
That's already taken out.
Why is there such a difference? I
I
thought they were
know.
closer in price.
The
I'm a little concerned about the other one,
smoke care products on the bottom, which is $13,000. I don't know if that's offered in the Zoll one. It's like batteries or something. I'm not sure what it is. Life pack.
That's preventative maintenance. On-site preventative maintenance. So you can buy 4 years or 1 year of preventative maintenance. $12,000 for 4 years or 1 year, $754.
And this one doesn't have that price in it.
This one just a 1 year warranty, no, and then after that, you'll have to purchase that separately.
But you'd be taking 12,000 off 81,
Oh, okay.
so if you go 70,000.
Oh, okay. That's better.
Yeah, they're you're not really following
Now,
this price.
is there any other quotes? Did you look into Mass Medical? I think it
Yep.
was.
Yep, so I talked to that gentleman there, Master Medical, so they have 2 Philips refurb Life Pack 15, which is the same as the Striker model.
Okay.
Their total is 41,108 for both. But those are both refurbs.
Right.
I'm not against getting refurb, but I would also ask you to get a new one too for the primary truck and the refurb for the second truck.
Can we do that? Will they do that through that same company?
We'd have to buy one of these.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
one
yeah,
and one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking 17,500 for one defibrillator, the Life Pack 15 versus 31 for a new one.
Yeah. I like that idea.
So,
I like that idea. I mean, I have a refurbished phone. I've had it for 50 years.
yeah, I have no, I mean, our current monitors that are down at Zoll in Massachusetts are both refurbished
Yeah.
at 11 years old, but, so I don't have a problem with that. I
Right.
just would rather also have a new one on hand just in case
Right.
something happens, we have a warranty on it. And this one comes with a 1 year. We can also purchase extended warranties. They also included that in their quote too here. So the only problem is they're only giving us $300 for our 2 M series monitors. So, but obviously, looking at the total price, that really doesn't matter.
The refurbished ones have a 1-year warranty too, Scott, or not?
Yep, refurbished ones are biomed certified, have a 1-year warranty. And then they have their version 4 software, which is the same version that the Striker one, that the quote had on this one. And it comes with the same supplies, because I made sure that everything was included. I essentially copied the Striker one and emailed it to him. Said, this is what we need, what can you do?
So, how long have these models been out? Any idea? Like refurbished ones, how old could they be?
That's unfortunately the problem. It's a crapshoot. These guys are out of Tennessee, so who the heck knows where it came from? You know, whereas at least you know the new ones are factory, right out of the factory sort of thing. So,
What could refurbished actually mean, like maybe the service went out of business and then they took them in or something? Doesn't
most
necessarily-
likely they were probably traded in for something, you know, some more current monitor.
Are the same, are these the same models as the Zoll also? So they'll all be updated at the same time, whether refurbished or new?
Nope, the refurbished ones is the same model as the new Life Pack that we've been looking at, the Life Pack 15. So that's the only one I asked him to quote, because honestly, I'm not really impressed with Zoll's responsiveness to my questions. He keeps dodging them, so.
And so how much is a singular striker? Again, I'm sorry, I keep asking.
So what I'm gathering from this information, if I took the warranty parts off, compare apples to apples. Striker is asking almost $77,000, and you take the credits off, which comes out at $68,979 versus Zoll at $66 minus 4, so $62. So you're talking $6,000.
So how much is for
So
one?
$3,000 would be $3,000 still less for Zoll, the Striker. The one would be half these total.
Yeah.
So one is 31 for Zoll, and 31,224 for Striker.
Okay,
Just the base model, and then they'll include all the give moving gadgets.
Customer service from Striker has always been.
yeah, I say we do one from Striker and then refurbish from Matt. Right? What are you thinking, Peter?
Did you make that motion?
No, but is that what you're thinking?
Completely.
Yeah, is that what you're thinking?
That is refurbished.
So how much was that one refurbished?
17 something?
The one refurb, the base is 17,500, and then all the accoutrements that go with it, I didn't add it up, but roughly is around 19,000-20,000, so still 10 less than both of the other new ones.
And I'm assuming Striker will only buy back one of them.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, right, okay.
So the refurb would take one.
The refurb would take one. for
Refurb would take one,
$300.
yep, so that'd be $150 towards the
Right.
bottom line, and then Strikers, whatever, 4,000, 2,000, whatever I think.
And it's 4,000 here. And they were okay with extending this, although I think I read it in the back that when the quote was
It was on the email.
Yeah, expiration date is August 24th.
And then my next question was, we can still.
So the payments
Yeah, can we do that with purchase one?
for Striker, I think there's some language. Typically, paperwork is good until the end of the month. We will extend the paperwork through the beginning of August to adjust for time frame. The first payment is due 30 days after commencement, which also when the equipment ships. Barring any unexpected uptick orders as it happened last spring due to COVID.
One payment a year?
I think that's, unless I'm getting it confused I think that's what I read.
Yeah, this breaks it down to, this one has 3 annual payments. I think, was it 0% for 3 years? And the last discussion we had, there was a 3 and a 5 year striker.
I know, that's what I'm wondering, does that still apply if you were to buy one versus two?
Thought it said it on one of the emails.
Yeah, it's real low interest at 3 and 5 is a little high.
Here it is here. The options for the payment plan are 3 years for 0% or 5 years at 1.9.
No.
To get the documents going, they had to do one of the options, that's why this is showing that way. Yeah, so basically, you'd be talking somewhere around, it's 3 years, it's a little better than 10,000
Mhm.
a year. Just under $35,000. 11.5 for one. And then I don't know what the language would be on the refurb.
Does it have any terms on there, Scott?
Can we do the refurb later?
We probably put the
Or
refurb
they
off
just won't
until
give us any-
February.
They're not giving us how much?
$150 per monitor. Yeah, so $150 if we're gonna get one. The only thing they have on here is just the extended warranty options at 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. Free shipping, and then 1 year warranty on parts and labor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so you wanna go back to the new one if we're thinking of doing the striker one. We would have to add one of these options for coverage if so choose. You know, I think we've talked about it. How many times these things have gotten sent in the past and per year, how much maintenance is, and these prices are a little bit high for that. But they basically both would have 1 year coverage.
Yeah, the new one would have a 1 year warranty, and then the refurb also has a 1 year warranty, so. Fingers crossed that nothing would happen. So.
So. Do we have
Scott.
any?
Yeah,
Scott, do we have to get new brackets and stuff for these new monitors, or what's the story here?
we would, yes, but that probably could come out of just the regular equipment fund. I could probably get those through Robert before he leaves, and then we'll probably get a better price than trying to get them from Stryker directly.
Okay, I just wondered.
So I move to purchase one new one from Stryker and one refurbished from Mass. At
I'll
0%.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor from Poly Rico to purchase one Stryker monitor new and one refurbished from Master Medical. And then on the Stryker one, it was also mentioned that it'd be the 3 year 0%. I don't know the terms on the refurb because we don't really have terms. We can discuss that. Yeah. But at least we need to get this ball rolling because we gotta get out of compliance here. So any more discussion?
The refurbished one, do we figure out their financing and what we're doing there before we get that one coming?
Yeah, I can email the sales rep that I was working with and just ask them to break down the financing piece of the puzzle.
I think that's what we need to see the bottom line from Stryker
Right.
also, because this package is with two and it may differ a little bit.
Yep.
Any more discussion? If have none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So we had an aye from Pierre Letourneau, an aye from Polly Rico, an aye from Dean Wright, an aye from Terry Wright. Motion's been passed. We'll go ahead with the purchase of one striker unit and one refurb unit, depending on the sales terms. Good. Okay.
Yeah, the loaners are they from Zoll?
The loaners are from Zoll, yes.
They charge you for having them now or not?
We still have them. The problem is that if we tell them that we're not gonna buy one from them, they're gonna probably want them back.
I would just say we haven't made a decision yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can just keep stalling them and saying we're still figuring out financing and we'll go from there.
Do we have any other camera discussion?
Oh, I was just looking at the junior membership. Yeah, it looks great. The only thing I would add to maybe the waiver and release is anything about posting anything on social media and regarding HIPAA confidentiality. Really, if they have access to like hearing calls or being on a call, anything like that.
So I hear fully that HIPAA is in there
Oh,
under the rules of conduct, and then no posting to social media regarding the service.
oh, I was looking at the waiver and,
Yep, it's down there. It's in the fine print, if you will.
where? On this one?
On the waiver and release,
Oh,
yep.
no.
Where?
So
This
it's the 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, this
4.
one.
This one down says will adhere fully to HIPAA.
Oh, there it is, okay.
And then, social media is the second to last one up on the bottom.
That's so funny. I read it twice. I was like, what? Okay, thank you. Sorry, my bad.
Blame the mask.
Yeah. It was all me. It was my lack of reading glasses. Yeah, perfect. It looks great. I like it.
We still need to have Vaughn look at that, or?
I mean, I don't see anything that like jumps out as far as, I mean, I guess you could just because it's releasing us of any liability, so he might just want to tighten, make sure it's all perfectly tight. But, I mean, I can't imagine him commenting on much.
The only thing that I had a question on was, does it mention in here anything about the possibility of somebody coming into contact with a COVID patient and maybe spelling it out so the parents know what they're signing up on?
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly add that. This was done
Yeah.
sort of before
Oh,
COVID
sure.
really blew
No,
up.
I just
so.
think that some parents might have blinders on when they think that they're.
Yep.
Yeah, when they think injury, they think like ambulance
they're not thinking
accident
of
versus
sick
an
leave.
actual sick leave,
The other thing with Vaughn that I'd be concerned about too, just on a personal level, is somebody that has, like you're taking a high school kid who, for example, sees a traumatic injury, amputation,
Right,
and that's gonna scar them, you
Right.
know, and that's not something you easily forget. So I would just ask that you look at that to make sure that truly we are not going to be liable, that mom and dad are gonna say, we're gonna sue you because you caused my kid
Get,
PTSD.
like,
So-
emotional
Well,
harm,
first,
yeah.
it's gonna be that, and counseling and everything.
Right, so,
So
right.
you want me to send it over?
so yeah, I would just ask that.
Yeah, he probably mentioned to him.
The
The
example.
lease that he was looking at it for the monitors.
Oh, okay.
You doesn't have to worry about it.
And can we also maybe have a heart-to-heart conversation about potentially getting a lawyer number 2? And have him really think about if that is wise. I'm sure he would probably welcome that, but.
I mean, it doesn't mean we're not gonna use them, it's just.
No, exactly, just he needs to say, I'm not gonna
Even
do that.
if he probably could even suggest one. I
Yeah,
think he's gonna have before he
Exactly.
starts work on.
And I have a couple that come in the office all the time that I know that. So, no, I can give you those names.
right.
Yeah.
But even, so that when we do call Vaughn, he says, I'm just gonna be upfront with you, I'm not gonna get to that for 2 months, and if we need something, we're just gonna go to a lawyer too, you know? But we should ask him
Go into executive session.
Yes, if all the other discussion of the ambulance stuff on the agenda has been talked about.
that. I'll move to go.
I'll second.
For ambulance personnel. So Polly Rico's made a motion to go into executive session. Gary Letourneau seconded it to discuss ambulance personnel. Any more discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So Gary Letourneau said aye, Polly Rico said aye, Dean Wright said aye, Terry Wright said aye. Motion is passed to go into executive session. We're now going to executive session approximately at 7:12.
And so Terry, you want to make that a motion? Motion to act as a executive session?
Okay, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna word this, but, yeah, I'd like to make that motion that as we talked in executive session, can we do that? Okay,
I'll second.
So Terry made a motion, Terry Wright made a motion, and Polly Rico seconded motion to act, discussion that we talked about in executive session. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye from Polly Rico, and aye from Pierre Letourneau, and aye from Terry Wright, and aye from Dean Wright. Motion has been passed. Okay. I think that's it for the ambulance,
Okay,
and we're on to the armory lift.
okay.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott, I did get an answer back from the health department. We were not eligible.
So the armory letter. So I got, we're still waiting on getting documents signed so that we can, or that regional can go in and do those asbestos checks. Nobody seems to want to respond to me. So that being said, I did receive an email today from one of the people. Remember how I asked, I don't know if I talked to Larry, I talked to BJ, the JROTC leader, Luke Shepard, messaged me and said, would it be okay, we have some items in a closet in storage over at the armory, and we would really just like to leave them there for now. And I said, I don't necessarily see a problem. Let me check with Larry, and then I talked with BJ. And said, I don't think it's a problem. And they contacted me today and said they just need written permission from us that we will allow them to store their stuff in the class.
Yeah, no problem.
And if you're okay with that, then I'll just send an email that says we talked and it's all good.
But does that person have a direct line to maybe somebody who can get you what you need?
So he's so I've been emailing this one guy and he CC'd all of these people. And he is one of the CC people. So I messaged him Friday and said, where are we at with these documents? Can we please get them? Because, yeah, yep.
I don't know that I've ever seen a time since I've started where everything, because of COVID, has gone, everything takes 2 and 3 times as long as it should, or needs to, or is going to, whatever the case may be. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, I'm thinking it's either somebody's inbox has 3,000 messages in them, or it's sitting in somebody's mailbox.
And if you don't get any help from that, I wonder if, remember the people that came up to do the tour with us, the ACCD people? I wonder if somebody from there or somebody from Tim Smith's office has more direct.
Well, to the, Greta gave me the person, like, this is the person who should be. Right, and so that's where I sent and didn't get anything, and then I finally said, hey, I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard, what's that?
Metcalf?
I think so.
Lynn Metcalf?
Let me see, it is,
What would happen if we picked up the phone?
let me tell you,
There's no phone number to be had.
so it is,
Probably the same thing happens to me when I'm trying to get my refrigerator fixed.
Michael Blau. Is the person, and then he CC'd me on a bunch of others. But, yeah. Have you tried calling the state via phone
There is
recently?
nobody. They're all away.
It's
Is
all
there a
email all the
computer
time.
telling you,
Yeah.
press this and this, and I can help you, and then it's
And you
like,
get a voicemail. and
and
you'll
I'll
never
send
talk
you to
to
here,
anybody
and then you're home.
It's not much different than most businesses like VLCT. Working on the roof for the Opera House,
Yeah.
I have emailed the same woman who was dealing with it twice in the last 3 weeks, and I'm totally like crickets chirping.
Radio silent. So that was all it for the Armory letter. I'm gonna keep poking them about getting those forms filled so we can get, because we need to get that, before December. Like well before December. Because if all of a sudden it's full of stuff, we might rethink our options.
Well, maybe if I'm going through town sometime, you'll see a vehicle over there.
There usually isn't. There was a dumpster there. They emptied
They
it.
said that they were cleaning out.
They
Yeah.
barely mowed the lawn in the last
That was
month.
that Michael guy. He said, we're there tomorrow cleaning out.
Maybe I'll stop in and say, hey,
We need some forms.
bingo. Yeah, no, but I mean, stop in and say,
I've been. And
okay.
Mark Rose will have some names.
Oh, true.
Oh, and is this on the agenda?
Computer?
No, that is not until next month.
Well, just so you know, it looks like the deadline is July 1st.
She said it was. She said
Okay.
that passed, but they're hoping to get something else.
All right, so we have time to like read it and go through it.
Yes, that's what I
Okay.
get. So on the computers.
Oh, yeah.
Computer replacement.
Right, so for this year, I'm not sure if it's urgent because well, it is kind of, because Windows 7 is what these in this
Right.
building are working on, and I think 2 of the computers in my office, one's Angie's and one's Permits. And they were kind of all slated to somehow be slipped into the replacement this year, and so Dave wants to know where that stands, if anybody's looked into the contract with the state, and if he could be of any help.
Okay.
I can get this pulled up on mine.
I was gonna say, yes, he could be of help and
Sure, I can.
oh, there we go.
So I started to gather inventory.
Oh, good, yay.
I have a few others I need to get to yet.
Which are,
Fire, town garage, and Angela's computer. Her laptop.
oh,
Just got the laptop, that's gonna get the town garage. It's had bad luck every time I go by
I
there.
think the laptop is now back in the office.
And then fire, I was supposed to meet Mark here last Tuesday, but I was double booked. This process, I was also trying to think of, is all that necessary?
Right.
When I came and talked to Scott, these are the tough books.
Right.
These NBC 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
This one's here. This one is on loan to NB Rescue. Number 3 is.
What?
Why
We have a laptop on
loan
on
to
loan?
MD Rescue?
That's what I was told when I was asking about the tough books. There's 3 tough books. One of them is here. One of them is apparently on loan, and the other one is
Not anymore.
the other one
Anymore,
is
it's not.
MIA.
So we had,
So I guess we only need one, huh?
I question whether or not those are necessary because they're not used. Apparently, they're only used for like one purpose. They're not. They don't pull them. They don't take them into the trucks. They don't even. They're very expensive pieces of machinery. that
Yeah,
It's likely unnecessary for them to have. He said that there's some specific software that's loaded up on the one that they keep here.
right.
That I can't recall exactly what it was.
so
for,
did you
but
just say that they don't have them on the rigs with them?
no,
That's what
So
what do they use when they're in the back doing like their reports? and
iPads.
stuff?
Oh,
So you don't need to.
These tough books are unnecessary.
perfect. They're
Where did the
expensive.
iPads come from? We didn't buy one?
They got a generous gift and they bought iPads.
When did these things happen?
I was told that someone had made a donation to them and they purchased iPads for the rigs.
Did anybody know about this?
No.
So they use the iPads. They don't use the tough books. One tough book sits in a filing cabinet in here that they use
Did they-
every once in a while. The other one's on loan and the third one is missing. That's what I was told.
My God.
I never heard of this. This is too.
Okay, so no more tough books. Good. They're
Fire, in talking to Mark, Mark questions, they have 2 laptops, I guess, one here in the office and one that's supposed to be for the trucks. He was kind of unsure whether or not it needs to be
Well,
apparently a second laptop isn't used often, or it's potential to downgrade to just a convenient
it
tablet.
doesn't hardly
Okay.
ever use because Dave was waiting for it to come online
Yeah,
last year to do some updates and it wasn't. So he called me, he said, is it broke? Why didn't somebody tell
It's
me?
never turned on.
And it wasn't, it would have been 9 months since it got turned on.
okay, so that's a no.
So it's another one that could probably get cut from the list.
Okay,
In collecting all this, you'll notice I got the specs and everything. I got all that just so
yay.
we can sell it.
Right.
So we know what we have and we can sell this stuff once we have it. I have the dates. Sorry, it's over here.
Okay,
I have the dates of the approximate dates of when these.
So maybe MV Rescue wants to buy it, huh?
well,
I
I
had
think,
never heard that. Or about the or about the iPads. I've never heard. I don't know how this stuff happens. but
They had mentioned the iPads. Should those ever get to need to be updated, that it would be good to have the cellular versions of those. You can get iPads with just Wi-Fi or iPads with Wi-Fi and cellular.
right,
That it would be convenient if the iPads had cellular connection.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah,
When the
'cause you can
time
get that,
comes,
right.
upgrade them to cellular. But as of now, they're fine.
So, can I ask a question? Did Dave know these were on our network? Because everything on our network is usually protected, and I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about those iPads.
okay,
So it looks like that's our inventory. I have a couple more I gotta capture, and then the dates. And it looks like probably, quite a few of these, obviously we talked about the tough books,
right,
potentially one more fire, but likely here down. It's due for replacement.
okay,
So the 2 EMS computers, the desktop computers, the all-in-one units they have here. Tough books, potentially, I gotta ask Dave a little bit more about the specific software that runs on that one tough book. I don't know why it's only on that tough book and not something else. There might be something specific to
okay,
that computer, and maybe it was just loaded on there and no one ever moved it to another computer. I don't know the story behind it. But that was the spiel that I got the other day, was there's a specific software that is only on that tough book. And then the iPads, I had asked about the iPads and whether or not they're going to be sufficient for the new defibrillary units.
Right.
Apparently, there's some nice integration that'll work well.
Hi there.
Okay, if I cut through here.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some,
Sorry to interrupt.
Very
it's fine.
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 There's some software integration that works really well with iPads, apparently.
So here's the question.
Yep.
Because I know this is not in your job description.
Yep.
But thank you so much.
Yeah.
Is this something that you want to talk with Dave about, or should we just throw Dave saying, can you please tell us what we should order from the state?
I mean, I have a good idea of what we have. I mean,
Okay, or what we need?
Yeah, whether we order it, I mean, we're going to order it directly from the state has a vendor list.
Right, the vendor list. And then
Which I've looked at. I've
Yeah.
actually called around to one or two local companies
Yeah.
to kind of get prices out. We can also order direct from Dell.
Oh, okay.
There's a GSW or GSA account set up already with Dell that we can use their vendor. I did reach out and they basically just said, it was kind of odd. I felt it should be a little more official, but the guy was like, just send me an email, tell me what you want.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, I work for the Pentagon.
Yeah, right. So I did kind of like at least reach out to kind of understand the process a little bit more. But once I get these other ones, we'll know specifically how many, and then trying to understand the tough book situation. What's the software that's on that one tough book, and why does it have to be on that tough book and be on something else?
Right.
Tough books are like $3,000.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what?
If they're not load them onto the rig, it's unnecessary.
Oh.
We had brackets installed in the rigs,
Yeah.
not
Them, I
too
remember.
many years ago for these things.
Right. That's what the impression I had, that they were going to be on the rigs. but
Yeah,
they're
so
not.
we just saying, just asking as a courtesy to have a chat with him before you order anything. I mean, he's not trying to stick his nose in it.
No,
No,
absolutely.
no, that's
He
what
just
I'm
wants to
wondering.
have a
If you
chat
should
so
work
we
with
can make
Dave or
sure
should
that
we
everything's
just
just
have you?
Yeah, no, I'll come up with a recommendation and I'll
Kick it
pass it through Dave, and then we'll bring it back to you guys to say, go ahead and.
Yep.
And I could I have permission to talk about some of this weird stuff with
Yeah.
Scott? Like, where did the iPads come from?
And that.
And why do we have
MV?
something at MBR?
Yeah, that needs to come back.
And
I don't even
and
understand.
where's the third one?
And where's the third one?
Where's the
I
missing one?
I asked tonight. And I got well, you kind of know where it is. And well, it's not back yet. And I was like.
Yeah, it's back tomorrow.
Oh, my Lord. I'm having flashbacks of 15.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Oh, my gosh.
what I was thinking.
Do we own all these or some of these?
Yeah, that's I guess my question for Dave is what's leased?
I think because we make payments on all these, and
Not on all this.
No, because some of them we own, right?
some of them we own, but what we haven't owned, I think, was leased to buy. Did I misunderstand that? So by now, we should own,
The two desktop computers here.
we should own the stuff here in this building.
The EAS.
And I think mine and Mary's were bought.
Yes.
So I think I could be wrong, and you would need to check with Dave, but I think we own everything at this point.
Well, that tells you what year we had problems.
Yeah. So there's our list.
Okay, great.
So
That would be super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Sean.
All right.
Still gonna talk on,
Oh,
that's it for computer replacements, and we have the last item that Sean wanted to update us on the CUD.
CUD, I can't wait to hear.
we're up.
You're up.
All right. All right, let me pull up the first Northwestern Vermont Communications Union District meeting happened this morning. That's a mouthful. Gotta take a minute to get used to that one. They ratified their bylaws, elected officers. I'm the chair.
Nice, congratulations. Right, Larry?
Despite my best efforts. Writing me back in.
It looks good on your resume,
Yeah,
that's what I've been told.
We formally accepted all the members. We're waiting on some signed copies of the resolution from the other communities from last. I believe Berkshire joined tonight.
Okay.
And then there is Fairfield, Sheldon, Albert, Highgate. Looks like they're voting next week.
Nice,
So it's rounding out quickly.
yeah.
Additionally, we completed a grant submission for, what was that? Everything happened really quickly. Broadband Innovation Grant, which is 60,000. And the next one is another ridiculous name. That one's coming up here, I believe, at the end of next week. Northwest Regional is kind of serving currently as our fiscal agent.
Okay.
They're also treasurer, secretary. They're serving a pretty big role. They're essentially writing all the grants. They're passing them through. I work with Emily Clough through at Regional to finish this one, the BIG grant. It needed to get submitted today at 4:30, so we were under the gun for that one. And then the next round, I can't remember the exact date. That's a larger grant, 100,000. That's the COVID Response Connected Community Resilience Program grant. That one's coming up soon. Both of those grants are going to go towards feasibility and a business plan.
Okay.
Looking at the different areas, identifying all the different addresses. The SU had done a lot of work in identifying homes that are underserved. The state has also provided that information. There was another program, which is called an RDOF. It's like the reverse auction. Several private companies had essentially came to the state and said, hey, we'll offer to build out these areas that you have concerns about. Enosburgh is on that map. VTEL put in a bid for Enosburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're a newly formed CUD, they asked for a response to that bid. It's not impressive. It's no better than what Consolidated offers us today. So the CUD is going to write a memo to the state and state that it's kind of an unacceptable bid. It's well below what standards should have been 10 years ago. Thanks, but no thanks. This is in short of what
The
what
most
we're going to
recent
respond.
survey that the school sent out had you do a speed test, and then you had to put in, so they actually even have numbers of
Yeah. Yeah.
6.
Rob Fish did.
So technically, high-speed internet is up to like 23 is like the lowest. I had
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
With four people working on it. Yeah.
So we did the grants. We have another big one coming up. Outside of that, how much? Things are moving quickly.
Yeah.
That's great.
We talked about, larger goals and objectives, and I think collectively everyone that's involved feels that, if this is something that we can accomplish in 3 to 5 years, it's a big win for our region. I look at it from my position economically, it's huge. What it can do for remote workers and what it can do for potential businesses who look at broadband as a essential utility now. It's huge to have something like that. So, and it's collaborative approach was really the only way to do this. So it's kind of exciting to kind of see things happening, see the stars align, and it's a big
And I'm
deal.
sure like COVID has like a lot of businesses are starting to realize how many of their employees can actually work remote.
Yep.
So, I mean, people now you could move anywhere at this
Yep.
point. Like you're
Yep.
figuring out like, oh, wait, half of our office actually can do their job from home.
Yep.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Collaborative is always good.
Yes.
Maybe that is a solution with the ambulance, so anytime collaborative can work.
Right. More voices.
Yeah,
Good,
this-
that's great.
This is one of those. There's a lot of large economic goals that it's really difficult to accomplish those when you think small and think just specifically local. If
Right,
you
I
can
mean, we're
collaborate
small
with your
to
neighbors and accomplish something big. I I feel the Working Communities Challenge, which is still underway, I feel that's kind of the kickoff point for a lot of the communities who maybe kind of pulled back a little bit and were kind of like trying to focus on themselves a little bit. That kind of brought everyone back together.
Right.
And it was kind of interesting to kind of see, you know, this whole thing stemmed out of conversations from that other program, the Working Communities Challenge.
Wow, okay.
So it was kind of interesting to kind of see, you know, everyone kind of connect the dots and make something big happen. So it's good.
Cool.
All right, the last thing I really have in front of me is just a little news bulletin that this health mobile unit is looking to use a parking location somewhere around Enosburgh Village somewhere. One day per week, usually be there around 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So,
What does it do?
has fit up a mobile collection unit that gives patients the ability to safely and securely provide a specimen for a urine drug test as part of their treatment through their local healthcare providers. We receive feedback from many of our healthcare partners who need means to drug test their patients' prescribed controlled substances. The unit is roughly 20 foot long, essentially a mobile version of our brick and mortar patient service center. Unit staff of male and female health employees with both trained. Basically, it sounds like probably because of the COVID, they're having trouble. People are having trouble probably for drivers, you know, CDLs or things like that.
Or they have to do the drug testing?
That might be that, and also people who have to be tested to stay clean.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's hard to get a lot of people into the doctor's office because of the space, so they're doing this mobile.
So they're looking for a spot?
They want to know if they can use one of your parking lots.
I had parking right.
That's not very private per se.
Community center?
You know, I said either the rec
Yeah,
one
they're not-
or the
yeah.
one by the Opera House.
Oh,
Yeah.
Opera House. maybe,
Yeah.
They can park right onto the back. and
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
street.
It's only one day.
One day a week. I think Opera House one.
It's walkable too.
It is walkable,
My
exactly.
first thought was here. and I
Me
was
too,
like,
that's what I was
yeah,
thinking, but you're right,
What
it
a
is.
challenge to walk it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
So if nobody really objects to that, I think BJ can just get an okay. Yeah. So last thing we have is just warrants design, so if somebody else has something else.
You want me to move to adjourn? Move to adjourn.
Second.
So Paul Rico made a motion to adjourn, Dean Wright seconded it. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So Paul Rico was aye, Gary Turner was aye, Terry Wright was aye, Dean Wright was aye. Motion's been passed, we now adjourn.